Yesterday, Woods had a hot scoop out of Asia somewhere. A reporter who tweeted that the Padres had signed pitcher Hyun-Jin Ryu to a one-year contract for like $11 million or something.
Yeah, it said done deal.
Done deal.
Done deal.
Don't know anything about this reporter, but also not obviously a fake account either.
Hyun-Jin News, 18 hours ago. Done deal. Hyun-Jin Ryu to the San Diego Padres on a one-year deal worth $11.4 million. More to follow. I've not heard back from Hyun-Jin.
Did not, yeah.
News.
I Googled to see if is this a legitimate reporter. He had, like 6,000 followers, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. So,
well, he's back at it this morning with some more breaking news that first baseman Ji-Man Choi is close to joining the Colorado Rockies on a minor league deal with an invitation to spring camp. So we'll see if any of these things pan out.
And it's possible that maybe a Korean-based reporter gets this news about those kind of players. Would that move make sense to you or not, though? The Padres are certainly been reported to be looking for one more starting pitcher before the start of the year. Now, Hyun-Jin Ryu he was an all-star in 2019, had a string of really good seasons, parlayed that into a pretty nice contract with the Toronto Blue Jays. He's been making $20 million a year, and then in 2022 had to have surgery that ended his year and missed a lot of 2023, but came back with like a 3.5 ERA and 11 starts at the end of last season. So at good chunks of his career, he's like a 3.5 ERA pitcher who's had quite a bit of success. Now he's, I think, 36 years old, so nearing the end of his career, but on a one-year deal at $11 million for a team that is looking for another starting pitcher, possibly someone who can give them some innings, a veteran. Does that kind of move make sense?
I can't go back on what I've been saying the entire offseason, that there are no bad one-year deals. And this is a team in desperate need of 4 or 5 different one-year deals for guys. That's kind of how I feel. And so I guess, did I see sticker shock when I saw the price? Sure I did. I absolutely did. Thinking to myself, I just did some quick subtraction or takeaway, as my 6-year-old calls it. We've been working on takeaway at the house. So if we have 20 to spend and then I take away 11,
and we don't know. We're just speculating on luxury tax level and
levels,
stuff.
So 20, if you take away 11, that leaves us with 9. And then with that 9, we need to find left field, maybe center field, maybe DH. So 3,
at minimum.
3, 3.
It's not a lot left
6, 2, 1. There's a lot of different combos.
You're looking for bigger bargains.
I'm looking for bigger bargains.
That report, that tweet was not the only one about Hyun-Jin Ryu, because John Heyman in the New York Post said Padres have shown some interest in Hyun-Jin Ryu.
Now, let's be honest with ourselves, too, and with our audience. John Heyman probably saw the exact same tweet that I saw and said, I'm going to run with it. Because why? It's John Heyman.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. Now, he also linked the Padres to a guy that we had talked about earlier this week, Jarren Duran of the Boston Red Sox, outfielder, as a potential trade target as the Padres were looking for outfielders in a trade. And then he threw in a third name, which this one surprised me, that the Padres are showing interest in Kenley Jansen if they're talking to the Red Sox.
I had to read it about 10 different times.
I feel like that's a 2 steps forward, 4 steps back move. Better be careful. He could be here in a week. I have no idea.
That comes out of the very left field AJ possibilities. Kenley Jansen is scheduled to make $16 million this
Feels
year.
right, doesn't it, guys? Feels right.
And, of course, the
we got 20 to spend?
Well, Ben just said it comes out of left field. I'd like something to go to left field instead of come out of left field. That's what I would like to see with this team.
I mean, the bullpen has been the one area where the Padres have seemingly done a good job addressing that area of need in the offseason, to throw even more resources, limited resources, on another big-name relief pitcher at this point after you've extricated yourself from Josh Hader in free agency this last year. I can't see how that makes any sense, at least in my mind, but sometimes things make sense to A.J. Preller that don't necessarily make sense to the rest of us as Padres fans.
So and we mentioned it when we were talking about Duran the other day. I said because they're actively looking And again, I think you have to ask the question again, why are you looking to move a 27-year-old center fielder with some pop that might have figured it out with 5 years of very cheap control remaining? What's the reason for that? Not a fit for you? You got somebody else coming? Like, what's the reason that you would be willing to part with him? You know, I think that's important. And that does happen in baseball.
But you have to ask that question.
You have to ask the question, why? 5 years of control. He's 27 years old.
We've asked it about every deal that the Rays have been a part of over the last 4 years.
Exactly.
We're like, this is one of the seemingly most smart teams and organizations in all of baseball.
But they're dumping a guy with
What
4
is
years
going
of
on?
control. Right. So I don't really know why. My original thought was Jarren Duran comes here along with Kenley Jansen. The Padres eat a lot of the salary.
The Red Sox eat a lot.
The
of
Red
the
Sox
salary.
eat a lot of the salary. But you have to give back some pretty heady prospects in return, of which you do have plenty. But that said, man, I don't know. Like Kenley Jansen, where is he going to pitch? I know he's had some success in his career. He's had some big success in his career.
He's a potential Hall of Famer.
100%. But is he still pitching at the capability where you would feel comfortable with him in the ninth inning, or Mike Schilt would be comfortable with him in the ninth inning? I don't know. We've done pretty well with pitchers, and we've done pretty well with pitchers off the scrap heap. Not that he's a scrap heap guy, but you know, what I don't want to do is give away a buttload of prospects and then pay $16 million a year for a Kenley Jansen.
I agree with that. To me, Hyun-Jin Ryu is actually the most interesting name that was brought up yesterday, because numbers-wise, there's arguments to be made both for and against him. Age is against him. Coming off an injury, you got to be very cautious. Can he give you the kind of innings that you really look for out of a fourth or fifth starter? Don't know. But I think what we can't know is, how does he look right now? You know, are they scouting some throwing sessions? Are they getting him on, you know, their machines, their biomechanics lab, and seeing what the spin rate and the velocities are, and do they match up with what he looked like 3 or 4 years ago? And you know, if they can project one really good season out of Hyun-Jin Ryu, a 1-year deal for a guy like that could be exactly what the Padres need to flesh out their starting rotation that does remain very, very mystery laden at the bottom end of it.
Yeah.
You know, as to who's
Incomplete.
going to eat those innings. There's choices. There's Yankees acquisitions. There's the guys coming back like Avila and Waldron. There's some of the young guys who may be ready to take a step up. But you can't tell me for sure that any of those guys is going to be able to fill the kind of innings that you're going to need to get through. What's the, like 1,440 is the number of innings you need to get out of a pitching staff every year.
Yeah.
And you know, you're hoping that Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish stay relatively healthy to eat a good chunk of those. Michael King has never thrown more than around, 100-something that he did last year. You're hoping he jumps up, but, you know, you can't anticipate 200 innings out of Michael King.
Or really anyone
And you're
anymore,
still,
but yeah.
even if you got, let's say you got
130.
530 innings out of those three guys, you still need almost 1,000 more innings out of your bullpen, and then 2 more starters, or probably 5 more starters over the course of a season to get to that 1,440 inning total. And someone like Hyun-Jin Ryu could help you bridge that gap, close that gap to get to the number of innings you're just going to need to get through a season.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Again, the sticker shock price was, I was like, $11 million. But, you know, when you see what some guys are getting right now, it's kind of what the market bears. But, yeah, I don't know that you can count on Matt Waldron and Avila to fill the 4th and 5th spots. And even if they have great springs, you know what I mean? They don't have that track record yet, and really the only 2 guys on the team that do are Joe and you, and hopefully they can eat up a lot of innings, man, because they're going to have to. But you do have a good bullpen that's going to help, ease the burden on some of the younger players towards the bottom. But yeah, man, it's what made Waka and Lugo so valuable last year. That not only did you feel like you had a good chance to win a ball game with them in there, but they also went out and pitched a lot of innings for you. So it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be really, really tough.